Well, it's that time again for 5 minutes of free advice brought to you by 7 Generation Games, games that make you smarter. Today's free advice is on friends and the difference between friends, acquaintances, and internet friends. Do you think I look like Mr. Rogers in this sweater? You have to get older to really appreciate Mr. Rogers. One of the things that Mr. Rogers sang about was everybody being his neighbor. I could sing, but neither of us would enjoy that. Now, not everybody wants to be your neighbor, but everybody wants to be your friend. And we've got friends on Facebook and thousands of Twitter followers and Instagram followers. And if I added up all of my accounts and everything, I've probably got over 30,000 people that follow me or friend me or whatever. And that's all well and good, but I don't confuse those people with friends. You're really lucky if you have a handful of real friends in your whole life. I don't have a lot of friends, but I would say quality outranks quantity every time. Let me give you an example. I was upset the other day, had a bad day. One of my kids said something pretty hurtful, and I actually cried a tear or two. Now, that's a lot for me because for me to really cry, somebody has to die. I'm serious, I'm just not much of a crier. And about half after that, hour after that, just randomly, one of my friends called. He didn't have any idea that I had just talked to my kid. He just called to check in. And that's something that friends do. They just call to see if you're dead. If, my age, it's a possibility. And just to see how things are doing. And I didn't give him any of the details because I'm also not a big sharer on things that go on. But I just, sometimes I wonder, what did I do wrong as a parent? And he just stopped me right there and said, "Oh, no, I am not going to let you go there." Now, here's a friend that I've had for over 15 years, and we've seen our kids grow up together. And I know the struggles he's had with his kids, and I've had with mine. And he said, everybody has times when they just think, why do my children not listen to me? And you know that fire is hot and you tell your child, don't go over there and put your hand in the fire. And what do? They do it. And he said, I used to do the same thing. I would beat myself up. And I know his kids, and he has very good kids, and he's been a very good father. But he said, I would beat myself up about what did I do wrong? And he said the exact same thing that goes on in my brain a lot, which is, yes, I'm not perfect. I'm sure I made mistakes, but I did the best that I knew how to do at the time I needed to do it. And that's one of the things about friends. Not only do you have things in common, but you have shared history that I know, like I just said, the struggles he had with his kids, and he knows a lot about my family. That's something that often people on the internet don't have, no matter how nice they might be. Another thing that friends differ from internet friends is not only do you have shared history, but you know each other's history. And my friend went on to say, our kids don't really understand what our lives are like because we both grew up with very little. We both left home at an early age to support ourselves and had to struggle in that process. And then when our kids were young and even not so young, worked a lot of overtime so that we would have the money that they could have the opportunities that we didn't have to not have to work when we went to college, to live in a nicer neighborhood, go to better schools, all the things that we didn't have. So that's another thing that you have in common with your friends that people on the internet, I mean, they know you at the Wikipedia level, right? They know maybe when you were born and what your job is, but they don't know that your father was the kind of person who would make fun of you if you liked Mr. Rogers. Who the hell makes fun of a 3-year-old kid? I'm not saying that people that you meet on the internet or people who are acquaintances can't become your friends. I mean, because you have to have friends come from somewhere, right? But it takes a long time. I've never been a big believer in love at first sight, and I'm certainly not a big believer in instant friends. My very best friend has a saying that she knows everything about me and loves me anyway. And I think that is kind of the key of friendship, the people who know all about you and still really like you. And so to know all about you takes a long time. So that's my thought on friends and internet friends and acquaintances. And one of these times I want to talk about how internet friends turn into real friends. But It's over 5 minutes, so it's not that time. You know what makes you even smarter than listening to free advice from me? 7 Generation Games, games that make you smarter. www.7generationgames.com.